Welcome back, folks. In this video, I want to talk about the trade that I did earlier, okay, the Asia trade, and it's posted up on my Twitter profile. Let's have a look. It's this one here, okay, so I want to walk you through the entry technique, okay. It's all about timing. Now, I did do a video earlier on in the day, okay, that's here. Is it that one? Yes, I did, that's the one, where I spoke about what I was anticipating for the day, okay, and I said that I would be looking for an entry in Asia to head up to 2390. Okay, so that's 2390 now that we're close to it. What's the high of this? High of this is 2389.71. So that's not too bad. Okay, 2389.71 is the high there. Let me see what it is on my actual broker platform. Sometimes the TradingView, because they use CFDs, I think. So on my brokerage platform, the high is 2389.82. So I like that prediction from the morning to 2392 has worked out well. Okay, now, regardless of that, let's talk about the entry. Okay, so I'm going to first drop down to a 15-minute time frame, 1 hour time frame first. Let's do that. On the 1 hour time frame, I was looking at, and I was mentioning this in the morning, that I was looking for a long as we were coming into this fair value gap. Okay. Now we went a bit lower, so 9:30 p.m. is the key, right? It's about timing. Timing is more important than the levels, the price level. It's time, then price. Okay. So if we were respecting this fair value gap at 9:30, I would have then looked for a long inside of there, but we did not. Okay. We went lower. So I'm then looking at where is it drawing to? I'm looking at a couple of things. Okay. Let me show you a few more things. Okay. I'm looking at where is it going? What's it reaching for? That's what I'm asking myself. Okay, and I'm looking at the price action. Now, this is not something you're going to understand just by looking at this video, but I know this price action is a crawl down, reaching for a level. I know by looking at this that at some point, once it gets down to its level and starts reversing, it's going to go back up here. I'm going to put a line there. Okay. That would be my, I have targets above. Okay. Let me just quickly remind myself, where did I exit? 2385. Okay, fine. Okay, now, you need to know your setups. What do you need to see to know that that's your long setup? That's something you need to work on, okay? I've given you many different examples. Here is another example of that. This is a 3-bar pattern I've spoken about. You have a down, you have a middle candle that down wicks into a key level. We'll talk about that, what that key level is, and then an engulfment, okay? I do prefer that the engulfment is above the down candle, but that's okay if it's at a key level. You just monitor it, okay? And we get that after, then we continue going higher, okay? Now, what's this level that it's reaching for, okay? And I have mentioned this previously as well, right? Everything I've discussed that I'm going through in this video, I've mentioned, okay? Let me find that level. So where are we? Okay, that's the low, okay? That it was targeting, okay? What is that? That is the previous session, that's the previous PM session lows, okay? Every low that the algorithm targets is a key low. It's not just that's the swing low, there's a swing low here as well. Why not that one? Because that's the previous PM session low. That low that's formed between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. I've mentioned that many times. Sometimes when I'm long in Asia, the PM session is a high, and my target is the high of the PM session. In this case, my entry is at the low of the PM session because I'm looking for a long. I'm not looking for a target at the PM session. That's my entry. So it depends what the PM session is on that day. I've done many videos where I've shown you that I'm using the PM session, the previous PM session as the drawn liquidity, whether it's a target up higher or an entry to go long after a liquidity sweep. I've also mentioned previously that when the market doesn't go and close below that low, it's a liquidity sweep, okay? Had these two candles closed down there on this 50-minute chart, that may have been a different scenario. Then that may have been a smaller pullback going lower, okay? But the fact that we've taken out the PM session lows here from the previous session, the previous PM session low, 2 to 3 p.m., at what time? 9:30 p.m. Again, I have discussed these times with you. When I'm trading Asia, I'm looking for entries at 9:30 p.m. Sure, they do happen earlier as well, right? I did an entry, I think it was yesterday, which was a long trade at 7 p.m. Okay, but this is the key time. It's 9:30 p.m. the key time in the Asia session for entries. All okay, and so right at 9:30 we take out a key low to the previous session PM low. Okay, let's go to that 9:30. It's not just about getting to that level; it's about time. So there's 3 things here. Number 1, we've identified a level that it's calling down to. First, I thought it was the 1 hour fair value gap, but it continued to go down. So I didn't see my setup there. Okay. I watched it. Then I thought, okay, I need to identify where's this going to. I then saw the previous session PM, the previous PM session, and I saw my long setup right at that level at 9:30 p.m. 9:30 p.m. is just like 2:30 a.m. New York time. okay? Or 3:30 a.m. New York time, or 9:30 a.m. New York time. The key times in those sessions. 2:30 a.m. New York time is the London session. Sometimes it's at 3:30 a.m. You've got to understand what your setup is. It's not just about time, what your levels are. So at that time, you can look at the charts and identify how I come down to my level. Have I now formed my setup that I know works to go long? And you use these times, right? So it can be at 2:30 a.m. London time. It can be at 3:30 a.m. not London time, London session. 3:30 a.m. New York time, which is the London session. Or in New York, 9:30 a.m. is the key time to trade gold. Okay, but sometimes those setups happen earlier. The key is to know your levels and what you need to see for your entry, long or short. Okay, that's how you use this information. So this is a setup that I have spoken about on any time frame, 15 minute, 5 minute. Here we're doing it on a 1 minute. I know this is my long setup. I'll identify this as a key level, which is the previous PM session low, and I know the time is key, 9:30. So at this point, I see all the things that I need to see, time and price, and then my long setup. Okay, my target's always going to be where this started from. So this is just like a market maker buy model. All right, we're coming down to a discount price, and then we're now moving up to premium pricing. Not premium pricing in terms of a very high level, but just in terms of what we see here. That's the high, that's the low. So what we see on this chart, that's the discount, that's the premium pricing where we're going to. Okay. Now, as I traded this, and I'm watching this, I saw this move up. See, I'm looking at the charts live. I'm watching them live, so I see the move. I know when it's moving fast because I watch the candles. Right? This is what I do. I do this day in, day out. And that's what's made me a master in price action, because I am sitting in front of the charts all the time. I love it. It's what I do. Okay. That doesn't mean that I am locked in. I'm only trading one session at a time. Okay. At the key times. Now, I don't have to trade every session. It's just something that I love doing and I want to do. Okay. But I can do one trade in Asia and that's it. Walk away for the rest of the day. I can do that. But I choose to continue learning in the markets. Okay. All right. So, as I was watching this, my target was a bit higher than this, okay, because there were highs above before we came down, okay. Yeah, these highs here. Now, as I watched the market, I saw this move up was quite quick, okay. You'll always see that the market trades from support and resistance levels, okay. There's always a reaction. So as the market's gone up and taken all this liquidity, it's coming to this fair value gap, which is acted as resistance. And this is also the market enticing people to take shorts, okay. To me, that's simply a move back into fair value gap. That's where I added an additional 5 lot. Okay, I added a little bit higher than before I came into this gap, but I knew any pullback for me just to go long because my target still hadn't been reached, and this was a decent pullback. And so I added another additional, I think it was another 5 lot. Initially, I went here at 8 lot, and then I think I added a 5 lot somewhere here. Okay, that was the entry. That's all you need, right? At the key time, at a key price, with a key setup, right? That you know works. Doesn't have to be this one. Whatever that setup is for you to know that this is now your long setup, up to wherever that move started. This is a crawl down and a move back up. Okay, let's look at the higher time frame. What's next? Okay, let's talk about what's next. So this morning, I already had mentioned that, I spoke about these levels from yesterday that we've come into. I spoke about this level that we're coming to now, okay, where we are right now. This is kind of where I was expecting the market to come, right? So I said that I'll be taking a long to that level, looking for the market to come into 2390. That's where we are. London is now open. And I believe that this low here is the draw on liquidity. Okay, I'm going to move this line down here now. Okay, I believe that's the draw on liquidity. I think that's where we are headed. And the best way to really determine that is to wait for 9:30 New York time, right? Even if London comes down, most likely 9:30 New York time, we'll be back up here at these highs. If it's going to be a short, 9:30 will most likely be the time, or 10 a.m. New York time will be the time we get that repricing lower for gold. Now, that's not always the case. Sometimes New York will go down and 9:30 will continue going down. If we're expecting a big move, okay? So I'm going to be waiting for New York to open before I look at the market. Okay, I'm not really interested in trading London at this point in time. We've come into the key levels that I was expecting, that I've spoken about. Go and watch the morning video where I've done all this analysis, identified these key levels that we are now at, okay? And we'll now see what the market offers us. You need to know what is your short setup for you to capitalize on any repricing lower on gold, okay? So news is going to be an important factor today. There's a lot of news. So the next news is 10 a.m. USD news, okay, 10 a.m. New York time. And so you want to watch that. You want to be careful. That's probably around the time that I'll be looking at the markets now. Okay. Hope the video was useful. Go back and study the charts. Look at how I've entered. Look at the time. Look at the levels I've marked on this video, and try and identify the same levels on this exact chart. Okay. Rewind the video. Look at the key levels. Understand what I'm teaching you here. Okay. The levels I spoke about this morning, in this morning's video, which went through the short setup yesterday, as well as the short setup from last 2 weeks ago, Wednesday, 17th of July, which is where we had the big massive short I've also spoken about that, not just in this video, but in videos prior to this, we have taken those setups, okay? You got to learn your setups. You got to know what to look for. What's your long setup? What's your short setup? The key time that the market makes these moves. You got to understand those times and the level that it moves from. So it's time and price, okay? Hope the video was useful. I will talk with you in a future video.